Yeah, I don't. Would you? Could
Yeah.
either of you date a
Yeah.
Scientologist? Think about it.
No,
Though.
not a Scientologist. No, no. So I could date her, but almost for the curiosity factor. I would love to like get on the inside of that thing. Like I'll tell you what, in Atlanta here we have a Hindu temple, and when you drive past it, I'm not exaggerating. Let me find you some pictures of this thing. It is beautiful. Like I have no interest in becoming a Hindi or whatever, but God, this thing makes me want to. Like, look at these images at how spectacular this thing is. So I have a similar like fascination with Scientology because it's such a closed, weird thing. Like I think I would like to get on the inside, especially if they didn't. See, here are the negatives to Scientology as I see them. Right, they milk you of money. Like it's not like you can just go to Bible class and learn. Like these levels cost money, right? And you end up spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to like get to a higher tier level, millions of dollars if you're capable of it. And I think they charge you more based on what they think they can get out of you. Like if you've got $50,000 to your name, guess what the next level costs? $49,999 for a limited time. So I wouldn't want to be a part of anything like that costs a lot of money or any money whatsoever, really. But if you could just get in there and see what was what, I find it fascinating. So I think I could date a girl who was a Scientologist in that regard, but like I wouldn't want to be held to any standards or anything. I wouldn't want it to affect me.
If you haven't listened to that Joe Rogan with Leah Remini about Scientology, you should. It's really interesting to get like the insider perspective on it. She was talking in it about how like Tom Cruise is not just another high-ranking guy or whatever level he was on. Mm-hmm. She was saying like you do not question Tom. Like what Tom says goes. Like when Tom was on set doing his movies and like, the other actors are like, hey, can you bring me a water and some, I don't know what they're called there,
PA.
Some PA or something will run off who works for the studio or whatever, get him some water. Tom Cruise apparently is totally inculcated in like a bubble of Scientology assistants. So when he is like, hey, bring me a cucumber sandwich or whatever, one of them will run off and get it. Like he's not even talking to non-Scientologists in those environments. Like they have like almost a shell around him. Sorry, go ahead.
So what made that part interesting to me was that Tom wasn't as crazy as I thought, right? You hear it and you're like, oh, he believes in aliens and this, and Xanadu is going to come down and he's uniquely qualified to save it. No, this motherfucker's getting his yard cut. He's getting water delivered to him. Everyone else is pouring money into this thing, and he, on the other hand, is the recipient of all these services and stuff. He's not going broke from Scientology. Scientology wants Tom. He's the guy who's getting his dick sucked by
Scientology is blackmailing Tom. Scientology has him as their figurehead, right? Like Scientology, that motherfucker paid in, just like Travolta paid in.
Oh.
Yes.
I mean,
oh yeah, they've got shit on him for sure, probably.
Right? Yeah,
they do on everyone.
And it seems like Tom and maybe Travolta too are the people at the top of the multi-level marketing thing here, and they get this shit. They get babied. They get treated right.
No,
they get babied in a way because
after all of that auditing that especially John Travolta did. They've been blackmailing him to be part of that thing for a decade or more. Like that's just how it works. Those people don't want to be there. Like you don't think they can get a cucumber sandwich as Tom Cruise? Like
that's
John
so
Travolta
racist.
owns a
How could you say that?
John Travolta owns a fleet of planes. He's got a 747 literally in his backyard. He's got a runway.
He has a runway. Yeah.
Yeah. That motherfucker doesn't need Scientology. Scientology needs him, and they keep him there.
How do you know he bought that runway? Maybe Scientology put the runway in for him.
Oh, who knows if they helped or not? I don't know.
I don't have his tax documents, but he's had that runway for like 25 or 30 years or something like that.
There's a reason that many of these niche, religious organizations have different words for what they call, auditing in Scientology, where it's like you sit down with someone, everything is recorded, you hold on to whatever device or do whatever, meditation you're supposed to do prior, and then you just spill your guts about everything to them. And if they assume you're lying or they think you're not being truthful, they can like write you up and dock you and give you some form of punishment. And so they basically just gather tons and tons of info on you, getting you to spill your guts. And then, 12 years later or whatever, if Tom Cruise or whoever is like, I don't want to be in the church anymore, I've paid enough, I'm leaving, they'll be like, oh, well, that would be a shame if, someone learned about XYZ.
I hear you. I don't know. The way that I've watched a couple Scientology documentaries, and I saw, of course, the podcast with her on it, Leia, whatever. My understanding is there are a few people who are winning at this Scientology thing. A couple leaders in it, and Tom Cruise is one of those few.
I don't think so at all. According to Going Clear, they're being blackmailed. The whole HBO documentary. That's one.
I think it's more like you're definitely right that they're no slouch in that ranking system. I don't know. I think it goes to 9 levels. Like, they're really high up. But I feel like the group that's really benefiting is the ones even higher than them, like the, board administrators. I don't even know how you would refer to them. The heads of the church, like, they're the ones I feel like making the decisions. And no matter how high you get, like, you're not making the calls like that. Like, I don't know. It's so fucking convoluted and confusing.
In any of these like power structures, and you have to reward the people who hold the keys to your power. If the guy in the very, very top is the only person who likes the situation, that doesn't last. They get rid of the top guy. It does if
he's blackmailing you. The documentary claimed that Scientology chiefs hold a black PR package on Travolta with all of the disclosures he made during auditing sessions. During these sessions, a trained auditor asked pointed questions such as, what are you willing for me to talk about to others? Travolta is said to have requested that these sessions were not filmed, but secret cameras were allegedly installed anyway, as well as the claims about Travolta. Former senior members of the faith told documentary makers about the various forms of punishment meted out by leaders. I think they're blackmailing these folks, man. I think that's the deal. I think that you get these stars to be your figureheads to bring in the peons, which are then put literally in slave camps, and like they pay to work for you. And then in turn they're blackmailed. And then there's a lot of people who've gone missing, right? Like a lot of people who have died. And there was that lady who was like boiled in a bathtub in their hotel.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I did not hear about this. How do you boil water in a bathtub? Do you have to bring it up boiling and then like quickly torture the person? Because it'll cool off.
Let me get it.
Then you just have a tub of lukewarm water. Man, I feel very lucky that I was not brought up in one of these fringe religions. 10 strange deaths connected to the Church of Scientology. Thank you, Chiz. Oh, they've got them by name.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, look at the... Oh, maybe you're on the same...
Is it the list-verse?
Patrice Bick.
The XenuDirectory.net. Scroll down on my link. Look at the third one down. That's the person who was boiled alive in a bathtub.
Wow.
Death listed as drowning.
Drowned in boiling water. Holy shit.
Some rough deaths here. I guess most deaths.
They call it the lobster.
If you're gonna drown someone, be a decent person and just do it in regular temperature water.
Right.
What temperature would you prefer, Taylor?
Something comfortable. Cool. Yeah, As I slip into death, like I would like it to be a little, like maybe like 87 degrees.
Oh, too much. No, 68, 72, something down there.
Even now, most Scientologists, like, how much do they really believe? Really,
they're in slave camps. I think a lot of them believe.
I don't know.
Why do you think they're doing it, Taylor, if they don't believe?
I think that, at least based on that, a couple of the interviews I've watched with ex-Scientology people, a big reason they stay in is because part of the onboarding process is giving up a lot of secrets and things that could be damaging to you professionally or personally. And so then you pretty much have to stay involved, otherwise you'll be fucked.
So they got conned at least at one. If they were believing in the start, then
exactly, yes. So you come in because you believe. They give you the free testing or whatever, and then
auditing.
You spill your audit. You spill your guts about all these things. They pressure you into saying things that you otherwise wouldn't, and then
I admit to a bunch of shit that wasn't even true.
Yes. I'm just talking about some other guy, but do that kind of thing. That might be kind of fun. Go get a free Scientology audit. See if my humors are in balance.
Oh, I think you can. Can you buy an e-meter? That'd be sick.
What's an e-meter?
It's what they use to gauge your thetan level. And
Jesus
so
Christ.
if you don't have a high level of thetans, then you're probably... Is it thetans? Well, you want a low thetan level, right? Is that right?
$300.
$300.
They sell them on Amazon?
They sell them on eBay.
An e-meter.
Oh, you can also get a 383 stroker crate engine here for $5,000. That's a nice engine. I'm gonna save this for later.
$310 for a Mark Super 7 Quantum E-meter Electrometer Professional Hubbard Scientology #1. That's a good price for that. Maybe.
Number one. Yeah.
So you hold the each handle, and the guy watches the readings on the other side, determines your body thetans. Do you know what body thetans are?
They're supposed to be the souls.
I know that you
alien.
know.
Oh.
I'm assuming Woody knows what body thetans are.
No, I assumed it was like the Jedi thing, the
midichlorians.
Yeah, I was gonna call them mitochlorians, which I know is wrong, but yeah, okay.
So body thetans are so long ago the intergalactic ruler Xenu, who's like the big bad of this religion. He reigned over many star systems, and he had an overpopulation problem in his galactic empire. So he rounded up billions of people, aliens, and he flew them to Earth in spaceships that looked a lot like DC-10s, and he dumped them into Earth's volcanoes, and their souls arose from the volcanoes and came to inhabit the bodies of early man when we were really not much more than early primates, and we evolved further into man. But those thetans, the souls of those long dead aliens, still inhabit our bodies, and they are the cause of really all of our negative emotions, actions, feelings, greed and selfishness and pride.
So the aliens are bad.
Yes.
Their presence in us is bad, whether or not they at one time were bad or not. Their presence in our bodies is causing all these negative things. Okay. And so only through Scientology, and more specifically through auditing, can you remove these and become a more enlightened, better person who's just that's why they don't believe in therapy and therapeutic drugs, like the antidepressants and such, because they believe that depression and things like that, all mental illness really is caused by these body thetans. And so to treat it with drugs is sort of like an abomination, it's turning your back on the true cause of them, which is the body thetans. So
it's
instead
like Christian Science in that way.
Yeah. So instead of solving the depression or whatever it is with auditing and, Scientology in general, going to pharmacology is a big no-no.
Yeah. We went to a Christian Science church when we were in high school, or maybe it was middle school, so they could tell us what they believe and everything. And one of the ladies had glasses, and their whole thing was don't go to the doctor, because if you pray hard enough, God will deliver you through it. And this nerdy kid was like, I noticed your assistant has glasses. Is that because she didn't pray hard enough? And I thought that was really funny. Everybody laughed at these people, and we were 12 or 13.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's just go with one of the mainstream Christianities. If one of them's going to be right, it's going to be one of the main ones. It's not going to be Mormonism. It's not going to be Christian Science. Why do you think
one of the main ones would be right? Why do you think the odds are better?
I don't know. Catholicism's been around a long time, right?
They were initially partially exempted by the IRS, but then they went back on it after 1968, and it's been a back and forth thing, I guess, since then. I'm not going to read all of this.
I saw an HBO documentary on it, and it made it seem like the Scientologists won.
Going clear, maybe?
Could be. Yeah, it was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Oh, probably.
Yeah,
I don't know. I watched a couple. I watched the Leah Remini.
Leah Remini, yeah.
Okay, yeah. She hates them.
Yeah, she's not a fan.
Because she
I
was a
guess-
Scientologist.
Oh yeah, her mother like indoctrinated her into it, I think. And but she's real fun to listen to. She definitely hates them.
She was on the Joe Rogan podcast talking shit about Scientologists.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise.
Well, I mean, he's the head poobah of the Scientologists.
Oh, you still going?
I love that video of him like accepting some kind of a medallion. I'm gonna call it. And in front of like a big congregation of Scientologists, and I call it a medallion because it looks like he won the gold medal for biggest fucking teeth or something like that. And it's a big,
That is the
thick,
award he would win.
big, thick fucking gold medal that this guy has on a necklace with like a big. It looks like he won the Medal of Honor / the 40-yard dash or something. It's so fucking big and absurd, and he's just up there smiling and talking about. He speaks generally. Like he doesn't speak specifics, and if you're not like in the church, I guess you're kind of scratching your head
It's
like,
all dog whistles.
the fuck is he talking about up there? It's all dog whistles. Yeah, absolutely. He's like, and then the problem will be solved forever, and they're all like, yeah, the problem. And I'm just like, am I part of the problem?
When I see a thing,
You might be.
I have to get engaged because I am especially equipped to help people do things. And I'm like, I don't really get what he's saying, but he's somehow saying Scientologists know something other people don't, and
They create like a
all
buffer
coded.
around him. Like that's what Leah Remini was saying on Joe Rogan's show. I listened to that one where she was talking like going really deep into Scientology, and she was talking about how on movie sets and things, like usually an actor or actress has like handlers, that are assigned by the studio or whoever who are like, oh, I need this or that for something, and they do it. In Tom Cruise's case, he has like a posse he brings with him. So anyone he's conversing or dealing with is a Scientologist as well. And so he has like middlemen to everyone, or just not even middlemen, just they do it for him in lieu of someone else. And so it's like even in that environment, he's totally inculcated from any kind of outside influence.
that ties into what I was going to say, because I wondered like why Tom Cruise would do this, why Travolta would do this. Like these guys don't have to be Scientologists. But it turns out that for them, it's not the worst of deals. Tom Cruise doesn't pay for lawn care. Lesser Scientologists are out there mowing his yard and clipping his bushes. Tom Cruise has assistants all over him. Tom Cruise has
To interject real quick, to get to his level, he's had to donate over $10 million.
Yeah, but
didn't
like
know that,
$10
but
million dollars.
You have to pay
it's
to
not
get up
that.
there.
I've
just saying,
I've heard about. I think it was, I don't know if it was Leanna or if it was someone else who came clear, but they were talking about how for Tom Cruise and John Travolta, they get a lot out of Scientology. Whereas when you're at the bottom, really, you just lose everything. You give them your money, you give them your time, and you don't get much back.
Yeah.
It's a pyramid scheme with an intergalactic god at the center.
Yeah, but people at the top, like Tom Cruise or some of the other leaders you don't hear about, they're actually winning in this thing. They're not just completely stupid like it seems. You think Tom Cruise is batshit insane. He maybe has made a really good $10 million investment. Now he has like a whole team of, he might get, $1 million a year or more worth of services out of these people.
I mean,
For
so
decades.
I've had a friend who's worked directly with Tom on a movie set and said, he is the most polite, enjoyable. Everybody on the set respects him. Like he is a great professional kind of thing, which like all adds up to all the anecdotal stuff that I've read on the internet, and it's fine. Like, oh, you might be a Scientologist, but you're like a decent human being outside of all that cult stuff.
I'm sure most of them are.
Yeah, I'm sure. I can understand if you're like, oh, I can have somebody or a group of people take care of everything that I could conceivably need. The groceries, car services, lawn care, transportation, whatever. And all I have to do is stand up there for about, 15 minutes a year and be like, hey, I really support this whole idea. I mean, you're still a shit person, but like I can understand the logic behind it.
Yeah.
It's hard to say what he's getting out of it. Yeah, it literally is a secret society of like powerful people. So it's hard to say. It could be on one end of the spectrum or another, right? It could be the situation where he's reaping incredible benefits that we don't even know about, or it could be the situation where he's like literally like a slave to them and he's being blackmailed as a recruitment like celebrity because like They know that like he sucked Jamie Foxx's dick or something. They did do that movie together. Did you see that?
Which movie?
You ever see that? You ever see that movie? It's Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. Tom Cruise is a hitman. He's got gray hair in the movie, like crew cut gray hair.
Yes, he's fat.
He flies
right?
into town, and Jamie Foxx knows LA well enough to like get him from appointment to appointment, and the appointments are murders, and so he has Jamie Foxx drive him around the town killing people.
What is the movie where Tom Cruise played? He was in costume and he was completely unrecognizable almost. He was fat and old.
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. Yeah. He looks like him, but not
I think it is.
Like he does the apple bottom
and he's
song
yeah.
Yeah.
at the end, and boots with
That was right at, that was very very close after his whole Scientology thing came to public. Because like he had taken a couple month hiatus and he came back here and people were like, "Oh, Tom Cruise, Scientologist, but still kind of funny, huh?"
I like that he did it because so many Tom Cruise vehicles are almost designed to make him a hero, right? Whether it's Top Gun or Risky Business or any of his Mission Impossibles, they're all designed to make Tom Cruise look like Captain America. But then he took that role and he didn't look like Captain America.
He's a skeezy boy.
Yeah.
There's Les Grossman. Yeah.
Well, have you guys seen the new Mission Impossible yet?
No, I heard it's excellent.
It's I'm not a huge fan of it of all Mission Impossible movies. That one is great. They also kept in specifically, all personal opinions aside of the guy, he does a stunt where he jumps from a rooftop to another rooftop and he misses the jump and he fractures his femur, I believe, or what, pick a leg bone. I don't know which one it is. And they use the shot where he limps off of the building, but his leg is broken. And, and he learned how to pilot the helicopter. Like there are very few actors that are going to go to the limits that he has gone to make sure that the movie is authentic and it's his.
He's good at skydiving.
He might be a shit human, but he's a pretty good stunt guy,
Did you see him?
He's got it going on.
What's his name? James Corden, the guy that does karaoke carpool.
Yeah, James Corden is the.
Yeah, they went skydiving together, and of course Tom Cruise knew how to skydive, and he was good. And then you saw him jump. Tom Cruise was actually good. He's an above average skydiver. I'm not a real skydiver guy, but I watch these YouTube videos every week, and I see people going through their learning progression, and Tom Cruise was able to just do flips and get right back into a stable position, and he was genuinely good. He knew what he was doing.
He's the white Jackie Chan, like he does all his own stuff and everybody kind of expects it of him.
I knew this was true, but I had to double check it when Woody mentioned it. Apparently, he invented the role from Tropic Thunder. That was his idea. Ben Stiller's making the movie or whatever, and he was like, "I've got this idea for a character. He's got really fat hands and he dances a lot." And he's like, "What? You don't want to just play like yourself, Tom Cruise, in the movie? Because that's fine. That'd be great." No. Fat hands. I dance a lot. You'll see.
and he pulls out that Grossman.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that he did that.
Everybody rips on Scientology just because it happened so recently, whereas I feel like Mormonism,
Battlefield Earth,
is the last one that slipped under the radar where it was far enough ago that it got a lot of people to buy into it. Like if Joseph Smith tried to pimp out Mormonism right now in 2020, people would be like, "You're out of your mind. Obviously the Garden of Eden wasn't in Missouri. Like, you maniac." So
well, are you right though? Are new religions not like sprouting off all the time? They just need a little while to collect steam.
What's the most recent one though? Like probably Scientology, right?
I think the definition of a religion is what's changed, or because like you could the reason they called themselves a religion was so that they get tax breaks. Like his whole goal, Ron Hubbard's goal, was to create a huge church, if you will, because he knew that he could use it as it's not taxable. And you just make a lot of money on it. But
I can't name religion. The most recent one, but there's probably there was a cult when I was a kid called the Moonshiners, right? I don't think it's much older than like the 1980s or 70s, as far as I know. But
but do they have tax exemption?
I could Google it. I'm not sure. But my thing is, fast forward 300 years, and maybe Moonshiners is this thing that people say, no one would ever fall for that now.
How big has it got to be before it goes from cult to religion? Like how many thousands or millions of people?
It's not even about the number of people. It's more a case of like how well organized and how much money they have behind them. And Scientology's got tons of money because they get, really wealthy people to buy in, and they own a bunch of land. And then they made a very good case against the U.S. government, and they won. They were able to beat the government on this one and, register it as a religion that doesn't pay anything. I mean, it's just about size in terms of not less about size than it is about resources and money.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah. Everything I know about Scientology comes from that one South Park episode, so I'm not very.
I got so into it when I was like in my early 20s, like reading all the Wikipedia stuff about it, and some websites that were actually telling lies about Scientology to make it seem even worse than it actually was. All the deaths that have happened, and the slave camps they have, and the people that they hold prisoner at times.
I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, there's lots of nonsense going on with that stuff.
There's a documentary called Clear that covers Scientology, where a lot of people, some actors who were in it for a long time, finally got out, and it's a pretty good look behind the scenes. And I've watched a ton of this stuff because I find it fascinating also. But Clear is a really good one if you're into it.
Is that the one with the? Because I did listen to a Rogan episode probably like 3 or 4 years ago now, where the wife from King of Queens,
Leah Remini.
Yeah, but she was
yeah.
like raised in Scientology. Like her
mom
parents
was
were like it, and she was talking the whole time about like, it wasn't about just leaving it. It was like, if I do leave this, my mom will abandon me. My father won't talk to me. My everyone in my social circle will.
Yeah, they're ordered not to. You're ostracized from the community, and you can no longer have contact. You're considered a there's a term for it. It's a person.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
Despondent person, or a low, like something. You're an asshole, basically.
Yeah.
They're like.
Yeah, if you question it.
Yeah, she explained like when she finally ascended to the level where they let you read some of the sacred texts that L. Ron Hubbard made up off the top of his head, probably stoned out of his gourd. And her mom is with her, like they're wearing some sort of special like get white gown. They've gone through all these biometric scanners down to the vault. They've opened the big book, and the mom's standing there like, yeah, read it, yeah. And she's like reading about Xenu and the intergalactic war, and the body thetans being cast into the volcanoes, and the spaceship.
Wait, South Park wasn't lying?
Yeah. She's reading that shit you saw in the South Park episode, and she's like, for real? And the mom's like, can you believe it? And she's like, no, I can't. I'm $300,000 in.
Okay, so you say this was written by a science fiction author?
Yes. Yes. This would be like if Gene Roddenberry just randomly started a religion in the 70s. Like nobody would have bought into that. The fact that he got away with it proves that he's one of the best con men ever. To transition from sci-fi writer to writing your own religious text and selling it as fact. And it happens to be so sci-fi based, right? It's about aliens. It's an intergalactic alien story. It's no more ridiculous than Star Wars.
Like that's when you get deep, and you're allowed to like have that cover, you're the access to that information. But at the outset, the reason that it works so well is because they mask it. It's just like, first of all, it's like an act in LA. What they did was like come for an acting class, right? Free acting class. Then at the end, they would try to like sell you on this thing, and when people would go, they would hook them up to a machine, which is like it's essentially a lie detector test, and then they would just have this person divulge a bunch of information about themselves, kind of like going to a therapist. Now, these people would feel good, right? Because that's what happens when you go to a priest or you go to whatever. When you like you let go of certain things, you feel good about yourself. So now they attach that to this program. The reason they keep all this stuff, because they record it and keep it, is so that they have dirt on you. Like Tom Cruise, perfect example. Like if he ever wanted to leave, they have these tapes they would release, and they threaten him with it. Any people that do try to leave, they have people follow them. It's like very intense. There's another really good documentary about transformational work called The Life and Legacy of Werner Erhard. And in that, they show what Scientologists did to Werner Erhard, who was trying to do something. He took things from Scientology. He wasn't a Scientologist, but a lot of people in the early 80s were moving towards that and away from Scientology. So they decided that they were going to try to ruin him. That's kind of what the doc is about. It's really good.
It's interesting.
That whole having things on them I feel like the government does that on people. They get a thing on you, and you get trapped, and you're unable to do what you want to do. And
that's what the entire Epstein thing was.
Isn't that what Lindsey Graham is in? Like, isn't that Lindsey Graham's case right now?
I'm a straight male.
Yeah, right. And I love Trump.
Straight as the day is long.
Sometimes I assume everything is so fake that, it's Hollywood. It's all smoke and mirrors. And then you learn Tom Cruise really did hang outside of a plane. Tom Cruise really has become like a master skydiver and a race car driver. And Keanu Reeves can really operate weaponry. And he can do Brazilian jiu-jitsu and I think kung fu. And, some of these guys that build actual
Tom Cruise is just unreal with the shit he's willing to do. Like, he's not even one of my favorite actors or anything. I'm kind of indifferent to him as an actor. I didn't watch the Mission Impossible stuff, but like, it's insane how dedicated he is in any arena where it's like, you want to be a pilot, a fighter pilot? And he's like, yeah, I want to learn how to fly a plane. And they're like, you can just be an actor and not do that. And he's like, no, it'll be better if I can make the facial expressions and act while I'm doing it.
Sign me up.
100% right. Like he's a master of his craft.
Was Iron Man.
It would have been a better series. I would have watched the fucking Marvel.
Robert Downey Jr. was really good and snarky.
Wait, Tom Cruise was almost Iron Man, or is that?
Yes. I told the only reason he wasn't Iron Man is he wouldn't agree to wear a mask. He wanted his face visible all the time.
That sounds like an urban legend. Is he that arrogant? That sounds like somebody just calling him cocky.
Well, no, because like
I'm really
even
glad
if he didn't like the mask or like it's uncomfortable,
that wouldn't make sense because even if it was like, oh, I the mask it's distracting from me. I'm Tom Cruise. It'd be like, well, but there's a million scenes of you without the mask. You just have to wear the mask when you're hiding from the public. Like that. Right. So that seems like absolute bullshit. I sincerely doubt that he said no because he would have to wear a mask. Like, I mean, come on.
I don't.
I can't picture it. I can't picture him being Iron Man.
Yeah, I've seen.
He probably would have killed it.
I've seen deep fakes of him as Iron Man. It would have been fine, I guess. But I think that Robert Downey Jr. has that snarky Tony Stark quality and personality. I don't remember. I mean, Tom Cruise can grow a pretty good beard too, but like the character traditionally has like the same facial hair that Robert Downey Jr. used to rock. It's like
a skull patch and a mustache or something.
Yeah, like a little
goatee kind of thing.
Various goatee.
I googled it. I want to jump in here. It's interesting to me. Tom Cruise was offered the role of Tony Stark, so he turned it down. Mm-hmm. And he said that he turned it down because he wanted it to be special, and he basically just wanted more control than Marvel was willing to give them. He said
he wanted to be in a real Iron Man suit, and they said no.
We're not making a real Iron Man.
I have to be able to make decisions and make the movie at best it can be, and it just didn't go that way. It was a control thing. And you think that sounds arrogant, but Tom Cruise makes good movies. So
Tom Cruise makes Tom Cruise movies. He like those Mission Impossible movies. There is no like Fast and the Furious would love to be what Mission Impossible is. They might make more money. I don't even fucking know, but they are white trash Mission Impossible. Just so all y'all Fast and the Furious fans know that are watching like Fast 9 or whatever's about to come
Fast
out.
14.
That is the like chill, cool equivalent of like some Bubba Gump NASCAR redneck shit that y'all are into. That shit is so fucking tired and lame. Vin Diesel has always been mildly retarded.
Family.
And the whole thing is silly. They were stealing DVD players. That was the first caper in Fast and the Furious 1. Okay, now they're fucking flying.
Now they're saving the world.
Have they gone to space yet?
They will soon.
It's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid.
Are they saving the world with their ability to drive like souped up hobbits?
It's always it's like a Mission Impossible thing every time. like there are helicopters involved and like rap stars are driving Lambos and
they got a long way from installing NOS on Honda Civics.
No, yeah, so far from that. We are not racing for pinks anymore. The world is at stake.
The world's gonna blow up. It's Dr. Evil now and shit.
But meanwhile, those Mission Impossible movies somehow like. It's like Tom Cruise wanted to be James Bond and they wouldn't let him. So he's like, oh, I'll be Ethan Hawke. I'll be fucking the Mission Impossible guy and I'll make that cooler than James Bond ever was. And he has. I think it's cooler than James Bond.
It has to be, yeah. Cooler is not the perfect word.
Remember when he climbed on the outside of
the cool?
Remember when he climbed on the outside of the tallest building in the world is the Burj Khalifa or whatever in Dubai or wherever the fuck. He's actually out there. He's on the outside of that goddamn building. Now it's kind of silly, fakery what he's doing, the way he's climbing it. But there's several parts where he's like bridging and stuff where he's just out there on the outside of that goddamn building.
I bet you he's good
I
at
wouldn't do
mountain
it.
climbing.
I bet he's good at everything.
Probably
I
good
bet
at
he's
everything.
every fucking thing. And I really dislike him as a human being. I think he's so creepy with that Scientology stuff, and I think him pushing it has probably sent so many people into that scary cult. But god damn, he's a good movie star.
Great-
he's the
great actor.
quintessential movie star. He really is. He's aged perfectly. He's still pulling off these leading man, get all the pussy and like win the day roles at 50 something. And he's 5'7" at best, folks.
Yeah.
Why do you think Tom Cruise does Scientology? Right? Here's my take. I don't think Tom Cruise
He's
is
the man.
I don't think he's stupid. I think there's something about Scientology that works for him.
For sure.
Right? Maybe he's getting
Surely.
free landscaping out of all these believers. I don't know. Maybe their money funnels to Tom Cruise somehow. Maybe he has like a sea of free labor. I just don't think Tom Cruise is losing at Scientology like everyone else is.
You know, they've arranged for like a couple of his wives. Like I'm almost positive that like they arranged for him to like meet wife number 2 or something after Nicole Kidman. I can't even remember who it was. There's a lot of weird
The pretty
stuff.
one with brown hair from Dawson's Creek, right?
They're all yeah, with the dead eyes.
Katie Holmes.
With the dead eyes.
Does she have a dead eye?
Like both of her eyes are dead. Like she has no soul behind them.
I don't think he's talking about a lazy eye. He's talking about
No, she doesn't have like
goat eyes.
a goat eye or anything like that. That would be really off-putting, right? If someone had goat pupils.
Yeah, it'd be a little scary. That's where I first heard that was in the testimony against a criminal I was reading about, and they said he had goat eyes. Oh yeah, that's
her best look.
now she's with
Wonder
Jamie
how
Foxx.
current that is.
Find one where she's in like Spanx at
Pretty
Starbucks and she's trying to hide.
She's trying to hide.
She's trying to fucking hide. No,
I forgot they were
Tom
together.
Cruise makes amazing movies. Those Mission Impossible movies. Every time they come out, I end up watching them because every time it's really fucking good. It's not some schlock. It's every piece of it is well done. The special effects are great. The villain's always a cool actor, or at least a well-known actor who does a great job. And even the story's usually decent. They're great movies. Tom Cruise is amazing at what he does. And have you seen Top Gun yet?
No. Did you like it?
I haven't seen it either. I feel like an asshole because with the move and everything. I'm working every day. Like
It passed $1 billion, so it's pretty good.
Is it a remake or a continuation?
part 2.
Continuation.
Part 2. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
I don't know anything of the plot. I try really hard to avoid even the preliminary spoilers.
he's
for
a-
things.
Maybe I won't say anything.
I think he's like instructor for Top
That's
Gun.
what I was gonna say. I think he's a Top Gun instructor now, and beyond that, I don't know much.
Exactly in the
okay.
same spot as you.
Yeah.
I heard there was a preview today on Amazon for the Lord of the Rings series. I didn't look at it. I'm not super interested in that. Oh, I also haven't watched the new Boys, and there's a new one tonight, which I think is the season finale.
I agree. Yeah,
Something
there's one
like
more
that.
Boys. You missed Herogasm then.
I watched Herogasm.
I don't think
Taken
she
over
has
by
it.
Xenu or whatever.
Yeah,
That's actually
no, all
what
that
it is,
Xenu shit
Lord,
is
no,
fucking
it's Lord
wackadoo.
Xenu. Yeah.
It's Lord Xenu. Thank you.
No, I mean I was making sure that you didn't think Xenu was a planet. Xenu's a
You
guy.
know, one thing I know is one thing I'm a little confused about. I'd love to get clarification on this. Is Xenu merely imprisoned? Like, is Xenu out there, like imprisoned, potentially to be unleashed back upon the galaxy? Because I don't remember if I know he was like overthrown and he was either imprisoned or laid low.
Oh,
but I
is
don't
Xenu
remember
bad?
which.
They'll be like,
Xenu's
they
the
can
bad
tell
guy.
you.
So okay, so
But it's
so
Xenu
here's,
I thought
he was a Scientology god.
Who's got?
so let. Okay, so here's Scientology. I'm gonna lay it out as quickly as I can. South Park can also do this for you really well with animation. I'm gonna skip some stuff because it's silly made up stuff. First of all, you need to know that L. Ron Hubbard was a science fiction writer, an unsuccessful one up until Scientology. Dianetics, I believe, something like that is the name of the book.
Now he's super.
The idea is that this galactic ruler, he ruled over the entire galaxy, many star systems, named Xenu, had an overpopulation problem. Too many people, like can't support this population problem, and so he took huge swaths of the population and he like liquidated them and took their souls out. And he threw them into volcanoes on Earth. He flew them to Earth in these spaceships that looked like DC-10s, as he described it. A plane of his time, so it makes sense that that L. Ron Hubbard would use that to describe.
Yeah, he couldn't compare it to a plane of the future.
and no, of course not. He doesn't know about that stuff. So they fly the souls to Earth. They fly the bodies to Earth. They drop in the volcano. The souls rise up, and I think they brainwashed the people on the spaceship first to and made them all crazy with some sort of like visual stimuli. But then their souls rose out of the volcanoes, all the aliens that were thrown into Earth's volcanoes, and those souls flew into early man, our ancestors, our ancient, and those are body thetans. Those are the sources of all of our psychological ill and many of our physiological ills. So you got depression, fucking body thetan, man. That's some depressed ass alien soul infesting your body, and we can purify you of that. So like they're going through those levels, like trying to purify the body thetans out of themselves. And you don't learn. And look, I got some of that wrong, and some of it's like horse before the cart. But the point is, it's all wackadoo, made up like sci-fi shit.
And it's not very original,
and it's not very good. So Star Trek is so much more original than all that nonsense that L. Ron. He's a bad science fiction writer. If Gene Roddenberry had a religion, man, I might have already altered my years to 20 or some shit, thinking I was going to get to go up on Vulcan and live up there, living logically for the rest of eternity. He could have hooked me. But this was a bad science fiction writer, so none of it makes sense. The problem is you don't learn any of that made-up nonsense gobbledygook until who knows what a celebrity pays in, because there's a special scenario. But let's just say that like you're a businessman. Let's say you're like a respected businessman who, yeah, we'd like him amongst us. You know, he'd be a respected member. He's cut from the same cloth, but like the amount of money that you'd have to contribute might be $250,000, $500,000, like a meaningful amount of money in your world, like huge to you. Before you find, and it's been in $50,000, $100,000 chunks, maybe, or maybe smaller to begin with. You've RPG'd this shit up to the end, and now you've been told about Xenu. Leah, I might butcher Leah Remini,
the King of Queen's wife. Yeah.
She talked about her mother's like super into science. She was like one of the inner group. She knew about Xenu, and I guess there's like this ceremony when you're like OC 10 or whatever the fuck, where you go in and you like. They let you in on some of that crazy shit. And like she came out and she was like, what the fuck? And her mom is like, can you believe it? Can you believe it? And she's like, no, I can't.
No, I literally cannot.
Yeah. So Scientology is an evil thing.
But I feel like if you do believe it, you become Tom Cruise. So there is some credibility.
No.
That is a catch-22.
No, if you do believe it, you end up in Florida as an unpaid intern living in an unair conditioned trailer working as a slave, because that's allegedly in Minecraft. Allegedly in Minecraft, that very litigious group.
Yeah, they're very litigious. Let's keep respect.
I've heard that Tom Cruise is actually really logical in his Scientology. That for him, it's a good deal. Right? You would think Scientology is terrible. They take all your money. They make you work for them, etc. But if you're Tom Cruise, no, he gets free landscaping and bitches. And who knows?
You see him with that medal? You see when they gave him the medal?
They get medals?
Oh, so there's a video. Oh, maybe I'm gonna get this a little bit wrong again, but like it's at a medal give. It's a Scientology. It's at a Scientology medal giving ceremony. That's all that matters.
That's and fine. There is other religions don't have that.
It looks like a televangelist situation where you've got a massive group of churchgoers and a big stage and like a podium, and it's Tom Cruise and it's like the guy. Who's the guy who runs Scientology? I've got Miscavige in my head.
Dr. Adam Science.
Anyway, that guy. And one of them's getting the medal, and Tom's like giving this really impassioned speech. I don't know how they let that get out. But it's very creepy. He's fully bought in, I believe. But it has been nothing but a benefit. I think it was in one of those documentaries I watched about Scientology. They were talking about how they like set up and sort of arranged his relationship with who's the girl from Dawson's Creek? Yeah, there he is wearing Katie Holmes.
Medal.
Is it Katie Holmes?
Katie Holmes. How they arranged the whole thing as he was leaving the Nicole Kidman relationship. How they're like, oh yeah, we want a brunette. She needs to be this age, roughly, this skin tone, and they like set the whole thing up, arranged that they would be in the same place and they could go do this and that together. And Tom Cruise isn't really even a part of this. He's like, yeah, I'd love to be set up. And they're like, all right, let's get that. Everybody, come on. It's like that scene in Apollo 13. It's like, in Apollo 13 when it's like, all right, you got this and you got that. Two things that were never supposed to go together. You got all this horse shit. Put it together. And they're like, all right, team, engineers. And they pulled one of those and like threw Tom Cruise in there with Katie Holmes and made a whole relationship out of it. Did they have kids? I think they had kids. Didn't they name it like? I think the kid's name is Rumor. I think I think so. Something like that.
Rumor.
Surrey.
Who was Apple?
You're
Was
so
Apple
right.
Jackson's
Siri.
kid?
Rumor is Bruce Willis's daughter. She's hot as fuck.
Elon Musk has a kid with a like unpronounceable name that they just call X, maybe.
Yeah, it's like AEX-12. It's named after that big plane.
That shit sucks. Why? The kid's gonna have to have like a special keyboard.
You know why that's his name? Because now when Elon Musk becomes like such a hated individual, his son can just make his name anything now, because that's just a placeholder name, right?
Who replaced him in The Mummy? Was it Tom Cruise?
All right, so Tom Cruise did make a Mummy movie, but that's not a replacement. That's a decade removed. It's more of a revamping of what that was part of them trying to get the Universal, trying to get the Universal monster like verse off
Dark
the ground.
Universe,
the Dark Universe. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm just trying to draw inferences about Tom Cruise's willingness to receive a taint massage.
Tom Cruise is the one who gives the taint massage. He's very high up. He's like CQ 45 now. Whatever they're fucking.
Is he like a lieutenant in the space fleet?
Oh, he's a fucking brigadier general space. He's the space admiral of the fucking Milky Way. He's commander of the Galactic Navy. He's emperor of the motherfucking mankind at this point. Tom Cruise is the guy. They talked about how important his wedding was as an event. Like back in the day when he married Katie Holmes, they were like, this was at this time. It was the greatest event that had ever happened in Scientology history. It was the who's who. And yet the founder of Scientology's wife, we got the guy who runs it, Miscavige or whatever his name is. I can't think of it.
David
his
Miscavige.
Wife. Where's his wife? She's not there at the most important event ever. And so Leah Remini or whatever her name is, she files a missing persons report on this guy's wife, her longtime friend. She hasn't seen her in 3 years. Disappeared. LAPD threw it away. That was like 8 years ago. We still don't know where this guy's wife is.
Jesus. And it's not going to come out.
Haven't seen her.
Yeah, but Top Gun was awesome.
So fucking good.
Was the new Top Gun this good? The new Top Gun.
I haven't seen it, but Tom Cruise is good at everything. I know it's going to be good. I'm going to watch it. I'm getting a new sound system put in, and I actually wanted to wait until I had like full surround system.
Yeah. So I mean, of all people, I think you would have seen it, 10 times. But like that movie is so old school in its approach. And it's like a really good video game. Like you can replay it and rewatch it, and you'll notice a lot of different things. But I mean, it was fantastic.
Have you ever seen Quentin Tarantino's take on the first movie? Like him explaining that it's a gay love story.
Can you do it for us? Because I've seen it, but I feel like I don't remember.
He's basically explaining that you got on one side you've got who's the blonde
Iceman.
Who's the Iceman's the actor?
Val Kilmer.
You got Val Kilmer and the Iceman with his guys. They represent the gay man. They're the volleyball guys with no shirts on, and they want Tom Cruise to come over to their side. And on the other side, they've got that hot woman who's there with Tom Cruise, and it goes back and forth. He explains it well, but like he goes to her house or she comes to his house. He doesn't fuck her. He leaves, and then in the next scene, she's dressed as a guy. She's got like a ball cap on and like a man shirt on. Now he's hot into her. Now he fucks her. And at the end, like he wins the Iceman over and he goes over to the gay side. And he's like, this is all about being conflicted and gay. That's what Top Gun is about. And he sold me on it. Quentin Tarantino can do it. I can't. And plus he's got visual aids. They're playing the clips. Search Quentin Tarantino explains Top Gun.
You really could do it. You just need to refresh it. Dude, I
need my visual aids.
Andor with my wife, right? We watched all 10 episodes. We finished it. And it was a little slow moving over there. This isn't a huge spoiler, but the first couple episodes are about a caper. And then the last couple episodes are about like a prison type thing. And you're watching this unfold. Jackie could hardly pay attention anymore. And when she's done, because she's heard me talk about you, Kyle, so many times, she's like, instead of watching Andor, I would have rather had Kyle tell me what Andor was about. It would be a better version of Andor than Andor was. So
I don't know about that. I've heard really good things about Andor. They're all saying that it's the Star Wars story that that has been that people have been wanting for a long time. It's sort of a noir detective-y, no Jedi's spinning around doing space magic, mostly just more grounded, gritty content.
Yeah, that's what it used to be, right? The Romans celebrated the winter solstice celebration, and then when Constantine dictated that would be the official religion of the Roman Empire, then they transitioned to the current celebration.
Well, see, the Romans were only so it's a combination of a lot of things. It's all about like melding cultures together whenever an empire is conquering. So all those Germanic tribes that were celebrating like their pagan winter solstice holidays were conquered by the Romans. You kind of had to bring them into the fold of Christianity. So they just made it part of Christianity. That's a big part of why Christmas is celebrated in late December. We don't know when fucking Jesus was born or when he died.
I wish the New Year was more tied into like the winter solstice or one of them. Make it the day when the first day of summer, the first day of winter, right? Winter solstice is when our side of the hemisphere is farthest from the sun. Am I right about that?
Something like that.
Yeah. So winter solstice or summer solstice should be the first day of the year. That'd be better. And then you'd know, like, it's day 180. This is winter. It's day
I agree.
1. That's summer. It's a better system.
There's probably a good reason for it not being that way.
I think
maybe just laziness.
I saw something where it's like we could have a 10-month year with 35 days per month each month, and it would line up at XY. This is so long ago, I don't remember all the details, but I remember finishing it being like, this guy's making a lot of sense. But I'm also not going to learn about milliliters and such.
But it's 36 and a half days per month. Wonder what his plan was for the other day and a half. Vacation, I hope.
Weekday.
Maybe we just shorten the year.
Yeah, the Julian calendar is just inherently flawed.
Just shorten the way we count it. Everybody gets older a little faster.
but we have to circle the Earth has to rotate that many times for
pish posh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pish posh. I can't argue with that. You got me.
Yeah. Suddenly 16-year-olds can buy beer, because they went around enough times. Yeah. That's a good idea. Not really.
The metric year. I am kind of digging it.
We should have. I wish we switched to the metric system, like when I was in kindergarten.
Me too.
Because now I don't want to learn it, and it's just ingrained in my head that I don't think in those terms. Like
I feel like I know it well enough.
I mean, well enough, but it's like I don't think if I see something going like 80 kilometers an hour, 100 kilometers an hour, it's like I have to in my head to be like, okay, 100 kilometers an hour, that's like 60 miles an hour, right around there. I think
something like that. That I don't know, but like measurements and weights, I got.
Why?
Wait, but that's a measurement.
It's a speed. It's a measurement times a time though. It's different. Like I could picture 80 miles an hour because I've done it. And I know which animals can do it, but like I have no idea what runs 100 kilometers per hour, and I have no idea, like off the top of my head, what it's like to drive 100 kilometers an hour. But if you tell me something is 50 meters long, I know how long a yard is. And I can imagine that plus whatever it is, 58 inches or whatever the fuck.